but welcome to a development night, right? Some of you had hockey tonight, some of you didn't, some of you had dry land, some of you had shooting practice. And now we're going to stick for the next 30 minutes. We're going to talk about hockey IQ and the importance of it, right? It's one of those things that unless you work on it, unless you get a daily dose of it, unless you're watching NHL games, watching hockey games, watching clips, unless you're putting in that daily dose of work, it's very hard to develop it, right? You can't go to a weekend camp and develop your hockey IQ for the season. The way you get better at hockey IQ, the way you develop your hockey brain is by getting a daily dose. And at the end, I'll show you how you can get that daily dose. But again, hopefully everyone's doing well. My name is Danny Heath, one of the coaches at Project Hockey. And I grew up in beautiful Glendale, Arizona, which is where I played my youth hockey, where we had over 12 kids play Division I from my youth team alone. Super proud of that. And then played my college hockey at Minnesota State University. Before that, I played in the USHL for a couple of different teams. And now I coach. I help kids get better all the way from mites to guys that play in the National Hockey League to gals that play Division I college hockey and higher. So excited to be here with you tonight. Some of the topics are going to be how to use the net. That's going to be our big one. We're going to watch a few clips on that. And then when to face pucks and when to protect it. We've heard the saying from coaches like gotta protect. And then what it takes to win and just how hockey players are built a little bit differently than other hockey players or than other sports. So again, if you have questions, either save them till the end. We got about, I think, 8 clips that we're going to go through, 7 or 8 clips. And then I'm going to show you a way that you can continue to keep getting better at home. But yeah, we're going to dive in here. I'm going to play the clip and then we're going to chat about it. And if you hear anything in the background, my kids are playing hockey in the basement. My son starts hockey on Sunday. So we're just prepping for that. All right. The net. The net is like a extra person out there, right? Because he can't skate through it. It can block, it can pick. The net can do whatever it wants, and it's never going to get a penalty, right? And so defensemen and forwards, you need to use it as a pick, right? And so we see Cale Makar, he's one of the best in the business. Notice how he doesn't just stand behind the net here, right? He gets his space, he moves over to this side, and that makes Kucherov go to that side of the ice, right? And as soon as Kucherov starts to get to that side of the ice, boom, watch how tight he comes to this net, right? Could have probably been a hooking call on Kucherov. Instead of Makar going deep into the corner and taking this angle this way, he stays tight to the net. That allows the net to set a pick for him. That allows him to create this space, right? You talk about creating space. We hear the term creating space. This is how you do it. This is one way to do it, using the net. Obviously, this next part is very risky, stick handling in front like that. But hey, worked out for Cale Makar in that situation. They end up getting an odd man rush, getting it down the ice. But again, the keys here are: 1, he gets over to this side of the net, which forces the player to go that way. Then as soon as he bites, he hugs the net tight, creating that angle up the ice, creating space for him to eventually break that puck out. Another example. Again, we're going to watch it. Okay, watch. The Avalanche forward, again, gets to the other side of the net. And if you notice, his toes are still pointed this way, which tells this Arizona Coyote player that he's going this way. And as soon as he commits, right, you can see this Arizona player turning this way into the corner. As soon as he commits that way, the Avalanche player hits the brakes, doesn't go super wide, stays tight to the net, which eventually creates this space. So again, we see the player make the opposing player commit by getting to this side of the ice, and then boom, turning up the ice, creating that space, and eventually being able to break it out. Kind of a fumble here, ends up going down for an icing. But this is why we can't always watch highlights. Highlights are great. They're fantastic, cool goals, cool celebrations. But sometimes plays like this happen and you'll never see it if you're not getting that daily dose or if you're not watching the game on a regular basis. So again, get to the other side, cuts back, creates space, and then look where his eyes are, up the ice. Watch his head turn, looking up the ice. He's not even out of his turn. He's still turning, but his head is up the ice. That's going to allow him to make that next play. Okay. Forwards. Austin Matthews here. Comes in, separates the man from the puck, uses the net to get a scoring chance. A couple things I'm going to watch here. One, watch how he just skates through the hands, right? The days of these massive body checks they're not over because they do play a part in the game. Hockey's a physical sport and we need to have that. But if he goes for this big hit right here and plows them over, they both fall down, he never ends up getting a scoring chance. The whole point of checking, of body checking, is to separate the player from the puck, right? So you want to separate that player from the puck. He does that by skating through his hands, disrupting his lane, and then he gets that puck, right? Then instead of going wide into the corner here, he hugs this net tight, which you can see the defensemen have to kind of lean over to try to get him. If Matthews takes like a public skate lap far into the corner, he's not able to stay tight to the net, then that defenseman is just going to angle him off into the boards, right off into the sunset, get that puck out of the zone, and then live to play another day. But because Matthews separates the man from the puck and then cuts tight to the net, he creates space for himself to get a scoring chance. This is another way to use the net to create space for yourself, to create scoring chances, and to, sorry, I got some people jumping in here. We'll let them in. I don't want to do that. Sorry, I was letting people in the chat. But see how he stays tight to the net. Okay, we'll watch it one more time. Great separation. Puck on his stick. Creates an opportunity for himself to almost score a goal. Again, not a highlight, not a big time goal, but a way that you can use the net to create opportunities. All right. Another way to use the net. Watch this goal. This might be the goal of the year last year. Tight to the net. Goal. So 2 things I want to point out about this. Number 1, watch this inside edge. He gets on his inside edge at the middle of the circle, and he holds his inside edge all the way around the net. So when you're doing 5-line power skating and your coach says, hey, inside edges, inside edges, inside edges, and you go, oh, this is so boring. It's not. It's an opportunity to get better, to make plays like this. If Gaudreau can't get on his edges like this, he's never able to make this play. So again, that's 1. Does a good job getting in, boom, inside edge all the way around, turning his head, and then he hugs that net. Again, if he goes wide, I think there's a better angle. Cannon shot off. All right. If he goes wide here, so again, watch him get on his edge. Boom, he's on his inside edge. We see that inside edge. His head turns first. If you've been on the ice with me, you know it's head, shoulders, knees, and toes in that order. Head turns first, then his shoulders. Now his knees coming around, and then he hugs the net. If he takes a wide angle, this goalie slides over. It's an easy save, but he goes nice and tight, makes that play. And if there was somebody chasing him, if there was somebody that was going to go around, right, if this defenseman didn't get kind of picked by these guys here, he wouldn't be able to hold on to him or stay in his lane because he uses the net, just like we saw Matthews, just like we saw Makar. So it's very, very important. So the next time you're watching a hockey game, watch how forwards use that net. It's so important to be able to use that net as another player out there that can't get called. The net will not get put in the box. So use it, right? If I'm a player and I set a pick for another guy or girl on the ice, I'm going to get a penalty. It's interference. If the net does it, no call. So use the net to your advantage. All right. A couple more topics here. I just want to talk about when you need to protect the puck by spinning away from trouble, and when you can protect the puck by spinning towards trouble, right? So if we watch here, The Tampa Bay Lightning player drives wide. There's not a ton of space here, and he's pushing the puck towards this net. You can see his skates start to go this way, and the stick is in this lane. The defenseman's stick, the Red Wings stick, is in his lane, where if he were to cut towards him, that stick is just going to knock that puck away, and it's going to be out of the zone as fast as you can blink an eye. But seeing that, if the defenseman's stick is in the lane, that's when, boom, you want to cut up. Okay. Watch it again. Okay. And again, he's pushing the player towards the net, so that way he can create some space. If this stick wasn't here, if his stick was behind him or off to the side, then he can spin up, which we'll watch an example here in a second. But because that stick is on him, it forces him to spin up. Again, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, he makes that play. Again, not a big goal, not a celly, not a highlight, but it was a play that was made in a hockey game that created something out of nothing, right? Instead of driving wide, dumping the puck in the corner or something like that, he pushes the defenseman to the inside. He notices his stick's in a position of threatening him to steal the puck, which is why he turns up and puck protects that way. Now, on the other hand, if we're going this way and that stick is in front of his body, right? And the puck is behind, this is when now if he were to turn this way, he's got to bring that puck through his stick. If you have to bring the puck through a defenseman's stick, it's never a good idea. Yes, sometimes you see the highlights of that kind of stuff, but it's never a good idea. So instead of spinning towards the boards, you spin up and it creates that space for you. So forwards, look at the defender's stick. Is it in an area where if I'm going to puck protect towards the boards, is it going to go in the way of that stick? Or if I spin up, like in this case, is it going to be in the way? So again, if his stick was behind more, and if the forward spins to his right like he does, he'd run into it. But since that stick is down, it's this way, then he spins up, boom, sees the ice. Again, no goal off the play, no highlight, no ESPN top 10, but it was a solid hockey play by a solid hockey player that's getting paid a lot of money to do this because they're doing things the right way. Let's watch it one more time. Again, he looks at the stick. Where's the stick? Where's the stick? Okay, it's in front of me. I got to spin back this way. Okay. Now, last topic, I always kind of like to end on something like this. I'm going to stop sharing for a second here. I'm going to ask everybody a question. I want you to get active in the chat. All right. Nathan MacKinnon. Nathan MacKinnon plays for the Colorado Avalanche. If you could have one word to describe Nathan MacKinnon, or one or two words to describe him as a hockey player, what is he known for? Put that in the chat. What is Nathan MacKinnon known for? And no, spelling doesn't count, so don't worry about it. Edges, speed, stick work, speed, yes. Speed, game knowledge, effective skills, speed, shiftiness, right? Some agility, some skating, his IQ, he can think the game, agility. Absolutely. Awesome. Okay, that's enough awareness. Perfect. That's enough answers. Didn't answer, that's totally okay, but these are definitely ankle breaker, crossovers, 100%. All right, I'm gonna go back, share my screen. Okay. Nathan MacKinnon, he's known for scoring goals. He's known for breaking ankles. He's known for doing these things. This is a huge game, right? Colorado leads the Stanley Cup Finals 3-2. In games, they lead the game 2-1. It's the first minute of the third period, which is probably the most important period, the most important minute in the period. The first and the last minute of each period are very important. And if Colorado wins this game, They win the cup. Spoiler alert, they end up winning the game. But watch what Nathan MacKinnon does here. It's right here. What did he just do there? He blocked the shot. Now, notice nobody said he's known for blocking shots. But when you talk about what it takes to win, you talk about what it means to be a team, doing things like this, your best players, if they're willing to commit to blocking shots, getting body checks, making plays this way, he's on the first line, right? He's one of the captains. He's one of the guys that get paid the most on the team. He's out there sacrificing his body to make sure this puck doesn't hit that net. If he's doing it, the guy on the fourth line, you better believe he's going to buy in and he's going to want to do it because now he's excited. My captain's out there doing it. My leader's out there doing it. Let me out there, coach. I want to block every shot I can do. This is why the Avalanche won the cup this year, right? Obviously, the goals and the special things these hockey players did were a huge part of it. But Nathan MacKinnon was willing to do whatever it takes to block this shot, right? He put everything he had in front of this. If this puck squeaks by, ends up going in 2-2, Tampa Bay ends up stealing this game. They head back home, or they head back to Game 7 in Colorado. They win that game. Who knows? Maybe they win it. And Colorado never ends up winning the Stanley Cup this year. But I believe Nathan MacKinnon was not going to let that happen because he would do anything it took to block this shot. Anything it takes to win the game. Anything it takes to be a teammate that wants to win a Stanley Cup. That's what he's doing. So when I talk about hockey players are built different, when I talk about hockey players, they just do things differently. This is what I mean, right? They're willing to do things. Hockey pucks are hard. I'm not going to sit here and say blocking shots doesn't hurt. Sometimes it stings, right? But you have to be willing to do these things if you want to win championships and if you want to get to that next level. All right.